What if I told you that some of the best ways to handle stress may already be sitting in your kitchen? Today, many people rely on coffee, screens, or quick fixes just to get through the day. But for generations, people used simple drinks made from herbs, roots, and plants to help the body relax naturally. These daily rituals were often used to support better sleep, calmer moods, and a more balanced response to stress. Modern research now suggests some of these natural ingredients may support the nervous system and help the body manage stress more steadily over time. In this video, you will discover 7 simple drinks, including one that has been used for centuries to promote relaxation, and another that may surprise you because it is so common. First, one is chamomile tea. Nature's gentle unwinder, chamomile tea, often called nature's quiet comfort, is one of the simplest ways to help your body slow down at the end of the day. For centuries, this small daisy-like flower has been part of everyday life. In ancient Egypt, it was valued for its calming qualities. Across Europe, families would brew it in the evening, not as a special remedy, but as a normal part of winding down. It was the drink you reached for when the day was done, when the body needed rest, and when the mind wouldn't quite settle on its own. There's something important about it. It wasn't used in emergencies. It was used consistently, almost quietly, as part of a rhythm. Now, modern research is beginning to explain why this simple flower has lasted so long. Chamomile contains a natural compound called apigenin. Studies suggest this compound may interact with certain receptors in the brain that are linked to relaxation. In plain terms, it may help signal to your body that it's safe to ease off the tension. It's not heavy. It doesn't force anything. It simply supports the shift from alert to calm. That's part of what makes it so useful, especially if your stress shows up as restlessness at night or a mind that keeps replaying the day when you're trying to sleep. If you wanted to use it, the process couldn't be simpler. Take a teaspoon of dried chamomile flowers or a tea bag, pour hot water over it and let it steep for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then just sip it slowly, preferably in the evening when your day is starting to wind down. Give your body time to notice it. One small note here. Chamomile is generally well tolerated, but if you have allergies to plants like ragweed, it's worth being cautious. And like anything you add to your routine, pay attention to how your body responds. So why did something this simple fall out of favor? In many ways, it's because it feels too gentle. In a world that looks for fast, noticeable results, chamomile can seem almost invisible. It doesn't hit you all at once. It doesn't demand your attention. And because of that, it's often overlooked. But that quiet nature is exactly the point. Chamomile doesn't try to overpower your system. It works with it, slowly encouraging your body to shift gears. Think of it like dimming the lights in a busy room. Nothing dramatic happens in an instant. But little by little, the atmosphere changes and everything begins to soften. Second is ashwagandha milk. The ancient stress buffer, ashwagandha milk, sometimes called a strength tonic in traditional practice, is a simple drink made by blending ashwagandha root powder into warm milk. It has a long history, especially in Ayurvedic traditions, where it was used not as a quick fix, but as a daily support for balance and resilience. Families would take it in the evening, often as part of a steady routine, with the understanding that strength isn't built overnight. It's built through consistency, through small actions repeated over time. This wasn't about knocking stress out. It was about helping the body handle it better. Today, research is starting to give us a clearer picture of how that might work. Ashwagandha is classified as an adaptogen. That simply means it may help the body adapt to stress more efficiently. Studies suggest it may support healthy cortisol levels over time, which is one of the key hormones involved in how we respond to stress. In plain terms, instead of pushing your system in one direction, it may help bring things back towards center. Ashwagandha contains natural compounds called withanolides. These are believed to play a role in how the body manages stress signals and maintains balance. You can think of them as subtle messengers, helping your system stay steady instead of overreacting. And that's what makes this drink different from something that just gives a quick sense of calm. It's not about shutting things down. It's about building a more stable baseline. If you want to try it, keep it simple. Warm a cup of milk, add about half a teaspoon of ashwagandha powder, and stir it well. Some people like to add a pinch of cinnamon or a small amount of honey for taste. Drink it in the evening, when your day is starting to slow down. Start small and see how your body responds. Now a quick note here. Ashwagandha is generally well tolerated, but it's still a powerful herb. If you're pregnant, on medication, or managing a health condition, it's a good idea to check with your healthcare provider before adding it to your routine. So why did something this useful fade into the background? Part of it comes down to how modern culture shifted. Over time, the focus moved toward fast-acting solutions and high-energy outputs. Adaptogens like ashwagandha don't work like that. They're subtle. They take time. And because of that, they were often overlooked in favor of things that felt more immediate. But that slower approach is exactly where their value lies. Ashwagandha isn't trying to override your system. It's working quietly underneath, helping you build a kind of internal steadiness that lasts beyond a single moment. Think of it like strengthening the roots of a tree. When the wind comes, the goal isn't to stop the wind. It's to make sure the tree can bend without breaking. Third is lemon balm tea. Calm without drowsiness, lemon balm tea, often called the bright calm herb, is a light, citrus-scented drink that helps take the edge off without making you feel heavy or sleepy. This is the kind of calm that doesn't slow you down. It just smooths things out. Back in medieval Europe, lemon balm was a quiet staple in monastery gardens. Monks would tend to it carefully, using it as part of their daily routine to lift the mood and settle nervous tension. It wasn't reserved for special occasions. It was part of everyday life, especially during long hours of work, study, and reflection. They understood something simple. Not all stress needs to be shut down. Sometimes it just needs to be softened. Modern research is beginning to support that idea. Studies suggest lemon balm may help support mood balance while keeping the mind clear. It's often associated with what you might call calm focus. You're still alert, still present, but the internal noise feels quieter. That's a different kind of relief than something that makes you drowsy. Lemon balm contains natural compounds like rosmarinic acid, which research indicates may play a role in how the brain manages stress signals. In plain terms, it may help reduce that constant mental chatter without taking away your ability to think, respond, and stay engaged. That makes it especially useful during the day, when you need to stay functional, but don't want to feel overwhelmed. If you want to use it, the process is simple. Take a teaspoon of dried lemon balm leaves or a tea bag, pour hot water over it, and let it steep for about 5 to 7 minutes. You can drink it in the morning, mid-afternoon, or any time you feel that build-up of tension starting to creep in. It's gentle enough to fit into your routine without disrupting it. As for safety, lemon balm is generally well tolerated for most people. It's considered a mild herb, which is part of what makes it so versatile. Still, as with anything new, pay attention to how your body responds, especially if you're using it regularly. So why isn't it more popular? In many cases, it simply got overshadowed. As caffeine-based drinks became the default, anything that offered calm without stimulation faded into the background. Lemon balm doesn't give you a jolt. It doesn't promise instant energy. And because of that, it often gets overlooked. But not every moment calls for more stimulation. Sometimes what you really need is less friction inside your system. Lemon balm works in that quieter space. It doesn't pull you out of your day. It just makes the experience of it feel more manageable. Think of it like opening a window in a stuffy room. The air doesn't rush out all at once, but little by little, everything feels lighter, fresher and easier to breathe. Fourth is golden turmeric milk. Warmth for body and mind. Golden turmeric milk, often called golden milk, is a warm, comforting drink made by blending turmeric with milk and a pinch of spices like black pepper. At first glance, it seems simple. But this drink carries a long history of quiet, daily use. In many traditional Indian homes, it wasn't something special or rare. It was part of the evening rhythm. After a long day, a warm cup would be prepared. Not just for comfort, but as a way to help the body settle down before rest. It was familiar, grounding, and steady. The kind of ritual that signaled the day was coming to a close. There's something powerful about that kind of consistency. Now, modern research is starting to explore what people have relied on for generations. Turmeric contains a natural compound called curcumin. Studies suggest curcumin may support the body's natural inflammation balance, which is closely connected to how we experience stress. When the body is under constant pressure, those internal systems can feel out of sync. Curcumin may help support a more balanced response, not by forcing anything, but by working gently in the background. In simple terms, it helps take some of the internal friction out of the system. Turmeric on its own, though, isn't easily absorbed by the body. That's where black pepper comes in. It contains a compound that may help improve how well curcumin is used, which is why even a small pinch can make a difference. If you want to try this, keep it easy. Warm a cup of milk, add about half a teaspoon of turmeric, and a small pinch of black pepper. Stir it well. Some people like to add a little cinnamon or honey to soften the flavor, but even on its own, it carries a natural warmth. Drink it slowly, preferably in the evening when your body's ready to shift into rest. As for safety, turmeric is generally well tolerated in small amounts. But more isn't always better. Large amounts may irritate the stomach for some people, so it's best to keep it moderate. And if you're on medication or managing a condition, it's always a good idea to check in with your healthcare provider before making it a regular habit. So why did something this grounding fall out of everyday use? In many ways, it was pushed aside by modern alternatives. Supplements, flavored drinks, and quick solutions started to take over. Golden milk, with its slow, simple preparation, began to feel outdated. Too traditional. Too basic. But that simplicity is exactly where its strength lies. It's not trying to rush the process. It's part of a slower rhythm, one that gives your body space to unwind instead of pushing it further. Golden turmeric milk doesn't demand your attention. It quietly supports your system as you move from the activity of the day into the stillness of the night. Think of it like wrapping yourself in a warm blanket from the inside out. Not instant, not overwhelming, just a steady, comforting sense of ease that gradually settles in. Before we go any further, take a second and check in with yourself. Out of the drinks we've talked about so far, which one are you naturally drawn to? Not the one that sounds the most impressive, but the one that feels like it would fit easily into your day. That's usually the best place to start. You don't need to try all of these at once. In fact, it's better if you don't. Pick one, give it a few days, and just notice how your body responds. Keep it simple. Let it become part of your routine instead of another thing on your list. If you're finding this kind of approach helpful, go ahead and like the video. It helps more people find this kind of calm, practical information. And if you want more grounded, traditional insights like this, make sure you're subscribed. We've still got a few more drinks to go, and one of them might be the easiest one to add into your day. Fifth one is green tea. Calm energy balance, green tea, often thought of as quiet energy, is a simple drink that gives you a sense of alertness without the sharp edges that usually come with caffeine. It's not about a quick boost. It's about steadiness. For centuries, green tea has been part of daily life across East Asia. It wasn't just consumed for taste. It was part of a ritual, a pause in the day, a moment to reset, refocus, and continue with clarity. Whether during work, study, or reflection, it supported a state of calm attention rather than restless energy. That balance is what made it so valuable. Today, research is helping explain why green tea feels different from something like coffee. It contains caffeine, yes, but it also includes an amino acid called L-theanine. Studies suggest L-theanine may promote relaxation without causing drowsiness, while the caffeine supports alertness. Together, they create a kind of smooth, even energy. Instead of a spike followed by a drop, you get a more stable experience. Your mind stays clear, your body stays relatively calm, and you're able to focus without feeling overstimulated. In simple terms, it takes the edge off the caffeine. That makes green tea especially useful if your stress shows up as tension during the day, when you still need to be productive, but don't want that jittery feeling that comes with stronger stimulants. If you want to use it, preparation matters more than most people realize. Heat water until it's hot, but not boiling. Then steep the green tea for about 2 to 3 minutes. This helps preserve its smoother taste and balanced effects. You can drink it in the morning or early afternoon, depending on your routine. One thing to keep in mind is that it still contains caffeine. It's gentler than coffee, but it's there. So it's usually best to avoid it late in the evening, especially if you're sensitive to caffeine or working on improving your sleep. So why is green tea often misunderstood? In many cases, it gets grouped in with other caffeinated drinks. People assume it works the same way, just in a lighter form. But that misses the bigger picture. Green tea isn't just about stimulation. It's about balance. And in a culture that often chases stronger, faster energy, that kind of subtlety can be easy to overlook. But once you experience the difference, it becomes clear. Green tea doesn't push your system. It supports it. Think of it like a steady flame. Not a sudden spark that burns bright and fades quickly, but a consistent, controlled source of energy that lasts and stays calm at the same time. Sixth is holy basil, tulsi tea. The everyday stress shield. Holy basil tea, often called tulsi, is a fragrant, grounding drink that brings a sense of steady calm without slowing you down. It's not flashy. It doesn't hit you all at once. But over time, it has a way of helping you feel more balanced, more centered, and less reactive to the stress around you. In traditional Indian culture, tulsi wasn't just another plant. It was treated with deep respect, often grown right outside the home and used daily. Families would drink it regularly, not because something was wrong, but because it was believed to support overall well-being and inner stability. It was part of life, not something you reached for only when things felt off. That daily connection matters, because tulsi was never about quick relief. It was about building a steady foundation. Modern research is starting to reflect that same idea. Studies suggest tulsi may support how the body responds to stress, helping regulate the systems involved in maintaining balance. Like other adaptogenic herbs, it works gently over time, supporting your system rather than forcing it in one direction. In simple terms, it may help your body stay more even when life isn't. Tulsi contains natural compounds like eugenol and other plant-based elements that are believed to play a role in supporting the body's response to stress. You don't need to remember the names. What matters is how it feels in practice. Less internal tension, more steadiness. If you want to use it, the process is simple. Take a teaspoon of dried tulsi leaves or a tea bag, pour hot water over it, and let it steep for about 5 to 10 minutes. You can drink it once or twice a day, depending on what fits your routine. It works well in morning to set a calm tone, or in the afternoon when stress tends to build. As for safety, tulsi is generally well tolerated when used in moderate amounts. Like most herbs, it's best approached with consistency rather than excess. And if you're pregnant, on medication, or managing a health condition, it's always a good idea to check with your healthcare provider before making it a regular habit. So why don't more people know about it? In many cases, it simply stayed within the cultures that valued it most. As modern beverages became more commercial and widely marketed, traditional herbs like tulsi didn't get the same attention. They weren't packaged with bold claims or quick promises. They were quiet, steady, and easy to overlook. But that's also what makes them so reliable. Tulsi doesn't try to overpower your system. It works in the background, helping you stay grounded even when things around you are moving fast. Think of it like a quiet anchor in moving water. The current may still be there, but you feel steady, supported, and less likely to be pulled off course. And the last seventh is warm honey water with cinnamon. Simple comfort reset, warm honey water with cinnamon, often thought of as a back-to-basics tonic, is one of the simplest drinks you can make, yet it carries a quiet kind of comfort that's easy to overlook. There's no complexity here. Just warm water, a bit of honey, and a pinch of cinnamon. And maybe that's why it matters. Across many cultures, this kind of drink showed up during moments of fatigue, imbalance, or when the body just felt off. It wasn't presented as anything special. It was familiar, something you could make without thinking too much, especially when you didn't have the energy for anything complicated. It was less about the ingredients and more about the act itself. Warmth, simplicity, and a pause. Now, from a modern perspective, this drink may seem almost too basic to matter. But that simplicity is part of what gives it value. Staying hydrated plays a key role in how your body handles stress, and warm liquids can have a naturally soothing effect on the system. Honey adds a gentle sweetness that may help the body relax, while cinnamon brings a subtle warmth that rounds everything out. Together, they create a drink that feels calming without being heavy or overstimulating. Research doesn't point to this as a powerful or targeted solution, and that's not the point. What it does suggest is that simple, consistent habits like hydration and gentle nourishment may support how your body manages daily stress. Sometimes, it's the small things done regularly that make the biggest difference. If you want to try it, keep it straightforward. Warm a cup of water until it's comfortably hot but not boiling. Stir in a teaspoon of honey and a small pinch of cinnamon. Let it settle for a moment, then sip it slowly. That last part matters more than you think. This isn't a drink you rush. It's something you ease into, giving your body a signal to slow down along with it. One small note here. Avoid using very hot water, as it can reduce some of honey's natural qualities. And if you're watching your sugar intake, keep the amount of honey moderate. So why has something this simple been pushed aside? In a world that often looks for complex answers, simple solutions don't always feel convincing. We tend to assume that if it's easy, it can't be effective, that it must be missing something. But that thinking can sometimes lead us away from what actually works. Warm honey water with cinnamon doesn't try to impress you. It doesn't promise anything dramatic. It just offers a small moment of ease in the middle of a busy day. And sometimes that's exactly what your body needs. Think of it like returning to basics when everything feels complicated. A quiet reset that reminds your system how to slow down, even if just for a few minutes. Stress relief does not always come from big changes. More often it comes from the small things we do consistently. What you drink in the morning, reach for in the afternoon, or wind down with at night can quietly shape how you feel over time. Keep it simple and choose 1 or 2 drinks you can stick with. Because consistency matters more than variety. If this resonated with you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who has been feeling constantly on edge. Take it one step at a time, and I'll see you in the next one. Just a quick note before you go. Everything we talked about here comes from traditional use and emerging research around general well-being and relaxation. These drinks have been used for generations to support balance in the body, but they're not one size fits all. Your body is unique, and how you respond may be different from someone else. That's why it's always a good idea to pay attention to how you feel as you try something new, especially when it becomes part of your daily routine. If you're pregnant, nursing, or currently taking medications, it's worth using a little extra care. In those cases, consider checking in with a qualified healthcare provider before adding new herbs or ingredients, just to make sure everything fits your situation. The goal here isn't to overcomplicate things or create worry. It's simply to stay mindful and make choices that support your body in a safe, steady way. Start simple, go slow, and let your own experience guide you.